So, hey, my fellow creative friends, this is Mika. I'm just having a cup of coffee and thinking about this amazing conversation that my friend Kosa and I had yesterday. She was talking about journaling and she says she's read about all of the benefits and she acknowledges it. I think her mom journals, her sister journals. So, it's something that's familiar to her. It's just a matter of now getting started. And she said she doesn't want to approach it in a way where you get this expensive notebook and you're scared of making a mistake, or it just becomes this thing on her to do list and then it's a liability and she's not necessarily reaping benefits, it's just stressing her out. I totally stand by that. And I just said that I've been journaling for now 20 years, so she can ask me anything. I started when I was 8 years old, I'm now 28, and I've never come off of the habit. Again, it's not necessarily that I do it every day, but I've never gotten off the journaling habit. So she asked me a bunch of things like, do I keep the journals? Because again, 20 years is a long time. Initially, I did. I had a box of journals, especially when I was much younger. I wasn't as prolific. And not maybe not as comfortable with writing and putting my thoughts on the page, and so things wouldn't flow out the way that they're flowing out now. So I did keep them, but then over time I just discarded it because for me journaling is more about the process of it and I don't necessarily see it as a finished product. So a completed journal is not a finished product. It's not necessarily an art piece, if I can put it that way. But again, the point of my channel is never to disparage anyone, so by all means keep your journals. That's lovely. And I just wanted to talk about how you can approach journaling in a very approachable way and in a very frugal way as well. So, obviously, the most minimalistic approach is to go to the grocery store, buy again like cheap ballpoint pens and those notebooks that are for school. So she has 3 kids, and just the leftover kids' school books, she'll use that. And that's exactly what I did as a kid as well. So if I had a leftover book from my school stationery list, I would just use that, and that would become my journal. Obviously, you can cover it and you can decorate and that kind of thing. So that's obviously the most minimalistic side of things. And then people go to various levels of being elaborate. There's also different kinds of journaling. Commonplace, there's art journaling, there's junk journaling, where you take ephemera from your daily life, so like a candy wrapper, a barcode, a till slip, these kinds of things. Some people get very decorative to the point of scrapbooking, and there's very minimal writing. Again, my point here is not necessarily to disparage anything, because in my mind you're being creative, you're not consuming, you have an outlet, it's good for you mentally. You obviously don't want to get to the point of overconsumption, but who draws the line between what is overconsumption and what's normal consumption? It is a bit of a difficult one. So I'm just going to show you now some things that I've used within my journaling process, within very frugal frameworks. Okay, so I've got some, like, everything is in the washing at the moment, so that's just my pillow, my naked pillow, and this is my bed stand. So as you can see, it's like got all sorts of crap on it. It's got my lotion, that's my like face cream, that's some labello, so like lip balm, that kind of thing, and then the books that I'm reading, and then just a random tripod over there, and then this is just the box that I keep by my bedside table, because I don't really have space on my bed on my bedstand. But yeah, here's the box, and then I'll just show you what's in the box, and this is kind of my journaling thing. Okay, so you can see the box here. Just before we get into that, I want to just get into my pencil case here. So this is my regular pencil case. I take it to work every day. It's just my everyday supplies. So just to empty it out in front of you. There we go. As you'll see, a lot of it is just highlighters. So I'll just gather it and show you. So I really do love those beautiful pastel highlighters, the gorgeous colors. But these are just your regular kind of neon ones that I'm finishing. I just try and finish whatever stationery I've got first before going and buying the new fancy shiny thing. So that's all of the highlighters. And then just some plain black pens. Random marker that I use. Okay, so this is from my law job as well. So this is for indexing and paginating the court file. If you don't know what that means, that's totally fine. Again, I can do more videos about my career, but it's for indexing and paginating. Let me leave it at that. And then we've just got a glue stick. We've got some colored pens. So purple is my favorite color. I usually just keep a purple pen within this pencil case, but my purple one ran out. So I've put a purple gel pen instead. This is a red pen, some scissors, some paper clips, and then this is just a ruler. So this is a 15 centimeter ruler. It's 6 inches. And I just keep it small because obviously it fits in the pencil case very well. And then this is just a really fun, fancy Tibetan style pen. So you can put refills in it. So obviously when you're done, you don't have to throw the whole thing away. You can just use like any ballpoint pen from the supermarket and fill it in there, and it's just beautiful and fun, and it's just got a lot of personality, and it's very enjoyable. So now we'll just get into this box and what my journaling supply setup kind of looks like. But again, we're looking very frugally. Like, this is not any special kind of stationery. Yeah. Okay, so here's what's going on here. This is a Collins Dictionary of Literary Quotations. This is just something that I found at a charity shop, and I love like literary quotes, so why not? So this was 10 Rand. It was really not a lot of money, and it's sort of indexed by subject. The author was doing his own version of commonplace journaling, and then he just decided to compile all of the quotes that were interesting to him into one book. So I'm going to use the quotes within my own commonplace journal, obviously, and then now this might be somewhat controversial, but a lot of people in their journaling process, they stick in little bits and make the page look aged and stain things with coffee and that kind of thing. But you can actually tear things out of books, that you've thrifted. I wouldn't suggest doing that with more specialized books, but something that's in the public domain like classics. Classics are not going out of print anytime soon. I would say you could very well tear those books up and use them as part of your creative process. I'll show you how I do that. Again, I would say, a lot of people would say don't do that with religious texts. That's fair enough. But something like classics and something like literary quotations, these are very much in the public domain. So, I'm using it in a twofold kind of way. I'm obviously using the content, but also, yeah. Okay, so this is my YouTube video planning notebook. So I love BookTube. So I've got my tags at the back, and then I just strike it out as I've done it. The front is just like concept ideas. Within the middle, like I've got my 10 favorite books and that kind of thing. And then I've also got an upload schedule here. So it's literally very, very simple, and I just strike out as I'm up to date with my filming. So I just keep that on my bedside because sometimes I come up with ideas and I'm like, oh, okay, let me just quickly jot it down. And then I've just got a pen here. This is my catch-all journal. So this is, and I know this is very large. Okay, so when I was younger, I did start at A5. A lot of people really recommend B6 as a size. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, I journaled in that kind of thing for a very long time, but now I've just become so prolific with my journaling. Your regular A5 kind of journal and notebook lasts me a month, if that, and I'm just flying through it. So I've just used this 288 page A4, and this has lasted me approximately 3 months. I'm very, very prolific with journaling, and I'm not saying that to show off or anything. I'm just saying I can't be buying something every 5 minutes. So I do get myself a big chonker of a journal, and it's totally okay because I work a desk job, an office job. So again, I can just put this on my desk and I can write with it as well. I can talk you through the decorating process and all of that later, but we're just going through the box right now and the supplies. So I've got gel pens, and these were gifted to me from my fiance. This other one that I thrifted from a charity shop is Antique Maps. It's a 2019 calendar. Obviously, we're way past the year 2019, but it's just the beautiful images here. So I might use it in sort of a creative journaling, scrapbooking, whatever you want to call it. Because for me, journaling is very much about text. So let me just find you some pages as examples. Like, here's an example of what my journal often looks like. Just walls and walls and walls of text, nothing highlighted, nothing special, nothing fancy. It's just writing. But then I also have pages where, like, I've stuck in my payslips because I thought, oh, that would be interesting. I've got things where I like number lists and do things like that. I've got highlighting in certain points because maybe there's something I want to flag. So I go to therapy, and if it's things that I'm reflecting on and I would like to bring up with her, then I just highlight it and then tab it with a post-it. So I also have times where I do, again, you can see highlighting in here. You can see mind maps. You can see me sort of sticking in ephemera. Let me just make sure that you can see that, where that's a leaf. I do sort of creative spreads and pages like this. So the creativity aspect is really something that I would like to play up within my journal. Currently, I'm just very text heavy, which is fine, and I have been doing that now for like my 20 years of journaling. But I'm also a very artistic person, and I just really enjoy creative expression. So that's something that I want to put in. I also sketch a lot, but we will get to that. So again, it's like I just want to bring all of my worlds together. As you can see, I've got just plain board paper here. So it's 10 sheets of bright board. I think there were a lot of other different colors, but the person has just left the purple, and I am obsessed with purple. So obviously I just bought this from a charity shop. Again, it's to use within a more creative style of journaling. Stickers, of course, adorable. And I've thrifted a lot of National Geographic. Now, the point of this, and these were 5 Rand each, so that's like 30 cents in dollars. It's really not a lot. What I love is the photography within National Geographic. It's stunning. The design, so the way that they've put typeface with the article. So obviously the content of the articles, the quality of the photography, everything. So I can use it obviously for like scrapbooking and art journaling and that kind of thing, but also for drawing. There's beautiful reference pictures here, and then I don't need to be faffing around on Pinterest for hours looking for the perfect reference image. I can just pick something from here and go with that. So it's sort of for my art, but also for my journaling at the same time. I have some color pens, so just plain colored ballpoint pens. This is my sketchbook. So I go for 120 GSM just because it's very sturdy. Then you can paint, you can use markers, you can use all sorts of things. So I just have my sketchbook on my bedside table because you need to have it near you if it's going to be a habit. The other things that I do have is, again, just more highlighters, but now these are the beautiful pastel ones. Ooh, fancy. Washi tape. Now, again, journaling for 20 years, it's the first time I'm buying washi tape. But this is Van Gogh inspired, or Van Gogh, however you want to say Vincent's name. And it's just something that I find so beautiful. I so deeply connect to his writing, to his letters, to his paintings. So, to buy this washi tape that's inspired by him, oh my goodness, it just feels so special and wonderful to me. And I think that's the thing. If stationery, if there's something that just feels beautiful and special, by all means, you can go ahead and buy that. So, yeah, your journaling supplies doesn't necessarily have to be expensive, as you've seen with like this charity shop stuff. This is just my little bag of Post-its. So I've had these through my degrees, through high school, all that kind of thing. So it's literally just whatever Post-its I've got, and I'm going to try and exhaust as much as I can before going out and splashing out and buying new ones. Yeah, Post-its don't have to be expensive at all. This is a shadow growth journal. So this is based on Carl Jung's work, and it's journaling but with prompts. So I love it, and I'm just working through it periodically, and that's why it's on my bedside table. This now, as I've said earlier, I buy books and I tear out pages. So I specifically love like ballet books and dance books because it's so dynamic. It's so beautiful the way that the dancers move. So that's, and then I also buy art books with prints of the artists. So I believe the thing is cut off, but this is by Vincent van Gogh, and I think it's The Potato Eaters. I'm not sure if that's the exact title, but yeah, I love these art prints, and I use them either within my journal, within my sketchbook as reference, or if it's a large print, then I can use it and stick it up somewhere within my home or my room and that kind of thing. It's just a way to keep art alive and ever present within my life. And again, I think the artists would just be so excited to see that their art is being enjoyed. So, rather than it sitting, gathering dust on a shelf, and it's these art prints, but no one is looking at them, no one is enjoying them. If I take these prints and I put them up around my house, I can look at them all the time, and I can think, oh, how wonderful Van Gogh was, or Renoir, or whichever artist it is. I think these are stickers. I've like forgotten about them because they've fallen at the back here. So this is little cat stickers, I think. Yeah. I don't often splash out on stickers. They just feel so special, and then I don't know what I'm going to use them on. I want to stick them on like water bottles and that kind of thing, not necessarily my journal, because my journal I know I'm going to throw out. So yeah, and then these are highlighters as well that were a gift from my fiance. So these are like metallic highlighters. Ooh. So yeah, this is my setup at the moment, and until I exhaust my things, or at least, I mean, you've seen how many post-its I have. Just using them, using what I've got, and going for it. Yeah. So my journaling, I would say, is not particularly creative. I can flip through a little bit for you and just show you what it looks like. And once I'm completed with this journal, I will definitely do a full flip through video, just so that you can see what it looks like. I'm also curious about what other people's journals look like. Take inspiration from other people. Maybe it's things I've never thought of. Yeah, I just think it's fantastic. So, yeah, my journaling is just cognition on the paper. It's very much my way of just getting things out. It's not necessarily the most fancy thing or anything like that, but that's not the point of it. The point of it is just creative expression. And yeah, so that is the video. I hope you will go out today and you will just do something to satisfy your creative urges, whatever that may be. If that's journaling, if that's art, now go out, my friends, and be creative.